Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been promising this vlog for quite a while. Here is what I take on the vitamin front. I have a campaign running at the moment with mental health and also helping out the immune system. So here is what I take in the vitamins every single day, and also what I give my 5-year-old son. So these are what we keep our vitamins in. This is Frankie Jack's and this is Gary and I, although we also have our pill boxes as well that we take during the day. So if I'm away from home, then I'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know how it works. So these are two. So I'm going to go through these two of what we have in them and what we take every day. I'm not saying that everybody should be taking this. This is what I've learned through the last year of being ill and learning about vitamins and minerals for the body and how imperative they are. So let's get through all the vitamins that we take as a family on a day-to-day basis. And obviously this is due to me being very ill over 4.5 years since having my son. If you'd have asked me 5 years ago, or just a little bit less than that, what I actually thought of vitamins, I'd have told you that you get it every day in your food and you don't need to take any pills at all and any supplementation, which really in a realistic world you shouldn't, because you should get everything from your food. But unfortunately we eat heavily processed. We eat foods that are full of preservatives and food colorings, and we have deficiency in our bodies. A lot of us are on medication now, which actually stop and don't help deficiencies. So will actually give you a deficiency. So some of the medication that you're on could be giving you a deficiency. For example, if you are a diabetic or you're on a PPI, which is a proton pump inhibitor, which is things like omeprazole, lamotrigine, omeprazole, all those kind of drugs. If you're on any of those, then of course you can become over time, I mean this takes a long time, it takes maybe 5 years of being on the drug, you can become B12 deficient on it. So let me go through some of the stuff that I'm on. I was heavily iron deficient, I mean so severely, I had nothing in my body. If you want to go and have a look at any of the iron videos that I've done, then the links will be below, or I'll put them above so that you can go and click on them. But I have a whole playlist on iron and my story and how I became iron deficient. So let's talk about irons first of all. If you are iron deficient, and what is really imperative is that you get your bloods checked first. Remember, I am not medically trained, so all I can tell you is what I've been taught along the way by doctors. For the vitamins, it's just what I've looked up, or if I've happened to speak to a doctor that knows about it. Actually, PhD doctors don't, so they don't really get any nutritional training. It's roughly a couple of hours within their 7 years. And so you can imagine a doctor has got an awful lot to learn over a big scale. One of the really important things that is an absolute must-have is your iron. So when you're taking an iron supplementation, a lot of the times you are overloaded with iron. So for instance, a doctor may give you 100, 200 mils and tell you to take it for 1, 2 or 3 times a day. If you're on the maximum of 200 mils, you're taking 600 mils. That's not good for the body, because the body will react to that. So sometimes you can get diarrhea, you can get upset tummy, it can make you feel very poorly, and you've overloaded and you haven't actually absorbed any of the iron that you've taken. And that's because there's a hormone between your stomach and your liver called hepcidin, and that hepcidin rises. When it does, you don't absorb the iron, so it's an absolute waste of time. So actually data has actually proven, and this has gone into the medical journal of your doctor, that it's been proven that 65 milligram every other day within the tummy to be taken with vitamin C, there's a 400% increase in absorption if taken with vitamin C into the body. Therefore it's not causing hopefully any problems within the tummy, and your body is absorbing it, it's using it as it should. So that is for your iron intake. It must be on an empty stomach with vitamin C, with no caffeine, for 2 hours or an hour before and after. So that caffeine, don't take it with coffee or anything like that, because it inhibits the absorption. Also as well, cow's milk inhibits the absorption of iron as well, so that's really important. Another thing that I want to tell you is this: water. So imperative for the body. Why is it imperative? Because this helps everything work. With being dehydrated, we have so many problems within our body. If I want to go into dehydration, that should be another vlog, but that is absolutely imperative. It's not the same as having coffee. It's not the same as having tea. Fizzy drinks don't do anything. There's no calorific intake with them, or if there is, then it's highly sugared, and And also as well, drinking a lot of fizzy drinks over a long period of time, especially all day, can actually give you puffy, swollen ankles. So that is the stuff. If you want to have anything in it, if you can't stand the taste of water, then put a little bit of strawberry, or maybe put some cucumber or some lemon juice in there. But that's what you should be drinking. Anything that's flavored, that's got anything that you're adding, maybe orange juice or maybe a strawberry or a raspberry or anything like that you're adding to it, the stomach actually has to break it down before it transfers the water. So it's absolutely imperative that you're drinking water every single day. So, and at probably between 2 to 3 litres. You can get your water from your food, but of course water in a glass is the best. So that takes me on to vitamin C, because I've just talked about iron. Now, vitamin C helps to support the immune system. It's also a really good vitamin for helping absorbing many other sort of vitamins and minerals around the body. It's a water soluble, so you wee out what you don't use. So that's why it's important that we keep it topped up. I use this one from Holland & Barrett. It's a 1,500 and it's a time release. So it's quite a high dosage. When we get to summer, I lower this dosage and I may go for 500 or 1,000, but I always go, especially through the winter, for a higher dosage of milligrams, and that's because it helps the immune system as well. So it's immune support. Vitamin C is also needed to make collagen. So of course I'm on a collagen drink that I take every day, which I'm going to go into in a moment. That already has vitamin C in it, but if you're on the capsules, then it's a good idea to take vitamin C. But everybody should be taking vitamin C every single day anyway. Also, vitamin C is an antioxidant, so it helps the body fight against free radicals. Protocol collagen shot is something that I take every morning. You've probably seen this in a lot of vlogs. So collagen is really important for quite a lot of areas in the body. There's a lot behind this, and how much collagen that we lose every 10 years is astounding. And we lose an awful lot as women during the perimenopausal stage as well. So collagen helps, it's basically the glue for the body. So that's why I take it. Now this has actually got quite a lot of vitamins and minerals already in it. But I take this purely simply because I love the taste of it as well, and I just feel it gives me a kick first thing in the morning, and that must be because it's actually got B6 in it, and B6 is that energy boosting B vitamin. Remember, most of the B vitamins are water soluble. That is a big part of my day as well, so that's another one that I'm going to stick into this basket of loveliness that I take every single day. Going back 5 years, wouldn't have taken any of this. Now I've learned so much about the body. And we're talking with doctors and specialists and nutritionists, etc. It's been a minefield, an eye-opener, and definitely something that I want to pass on to you. The next vitamin I want to talk about is vitamin D. So everybody thinks that vitamin C is the imperative one for the immune system. And of course it is, but it's not as important as what D3 is. And yes, there's 3 D vitamins. There's D, D2, D3. Really, the best one is D3. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, you won't want to take that because it's meat-based, but that is the one that works the best, okay? That's been proven through data. So D3 is meat-based. So if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you need to be on D2. So D3 is what we need in our bodies. We do not get enough from this. Obviously, it's the sunshine vitamin. It's actually a hormone. Yeah, I know, crazy, isn't it? So, but D3 is imperative. It's imperative for, obviously, we found out that without the D vitamin in our body, we were getting a lot of rickets in the olden days. It helps with your bones. In a 2005 study, they actually found that vitamin D was in the same receptors as where they found depression within the brain. So it has actually been linked to mental health as well. So it's, again, it's an imperative one to be taken. It also helps the upper respiratory tract. So what they're finding is that there is a heavy link, and there's been data proved to this, for coronaviruses. Now, let me just explain that. Not COVID-19. COVID-19 is the disease. So just like pneumonia, the flu, the common cold, SARS, and MERS, they are all the disease. But the virus that causes it is called the coronavirus. So coronavirus causes COVID-19. So I need to make that clear first of all. So there's data behind the coronavirus for SARS, MERS, flu, common cold and pneumonia, where actually vitamin D has helped. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below. So there's no data to prove with COVID-19 because there's no data out yet. However, there are a lot of doctors talking about it at the moment that they are finding, or could possibly be finding, a trend behind vitamin D deficiency with COVID-19. Now, a lot of darker skinned people will suffer with vitamin D deficiency more than lighter skinned people. And that's because if you have a darker skin, the vitamin D can't synthesize the same on your skin. So therefore, if you're on holiday and you've got a lighter skin like myself, and you actually get a tan, your skin takes in less vitamin D. Isn't that crazy? So the lighter the skin, the more vitamin D you're likely to take in. Therefore, what doctors are saying at the moment is that it's, or not just at the moment, doctors are saying is that it's imperative that vitamin D is taken every day. In what quantity, that would need to go off your blood levels, because obviously you can overly dose on vitamin D. So it's imperative that you get that dose right. But they're saying roughly between 1,000 to 5,000 IUs a day. That's what they're roughly saying. Now, you need to go and do your research on this. You can't just jump on board of it. You need to talk to your doctor about it, whether you need it. We find a lot of women that are going through the menopause need their D3 because of their bones, etc. And also as well, if you're on a thyroid tablet, you're taking thyroid medication like thyroxine every day, then you can't take, there's a window when you can't take your vitamin D, and I think it's roughly around about 4 hours. So we take D3 every single day, Gary and I, and we take it in 5,000 IUs. But I know where my blood levels are because it's a fat soluble. So that's really, really important that you check with your doctor first before you start doing it. But it's also imperative that you're taking it now, especially with all this that's going on at the moment. So that's your D3. Now, another one which I've just run out of, but I get from Holland & Barrett, and I get it in a spray form. So it looks very similar to this, but is a dark purple, and it's called K2. K2 is kind of the twin with D3. It's kind of, they go together. They're like two peas in a pod. If you're already on a blood thinner, you do not want to be taking K2. So you can't take K2 if you're already in a blood thinner. It's to be taken with D3 because what it helps is to regulate that calcium in your body. So that's why they go together, vitamin D3 and K2. So that's another vitamin I take. Right, I'm now going to go into all my B vitamins. So, and I take a separate B12 as well as taking this one. So there are many B vitamins. You probably heard of B complex. And all a family, and they all sort of work in conjunction with each other. And they are absolutely imperative. So I cannot tell you highly enough how it's important to go on a B vitamin, but also take an extra B12. And I'll go through that with you now. B1, that's thiamine. That helps to change carbohydrates into energy. And of course, if you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, if you love your bread, if you love your potatoes, your rice, your pizzas and all things like that, then of course you're going to want this. You're going to want that turning into energy. So that's what B1 does. B2 is riboflavin, and this is really important because this helps the body's energy system. And also B2 is needed within the step-by-step methylation cycle to actually process folic acid or folate or B9. I'll get onto that in just a moment. So B2 is very important within the diet. B3 is niacin. Now this is needed in every single part of the body. So this is an imperative B. They're all very important, but this one is really important. It may help lower cholesterol. It may help to ease arthritis. Also helps to boost brain function, does B3. It helps skin brightening. Also helps to prevent water loss within the body. So again, an important vitamin. So then we move on to B5, which is called pantothenic acid. Now this is another important one to reduce the tiredness in your body. It also helps to synthesize your vitamin D. So going back to that vitamin D, vitamin B5 plays a part in that. It also heals, moistures and protects the skin. So what you find is a lot of products, if they want to help people with itchy skin and flare-ups such as prickly heat in the sun. Obviously, again, that's not going to work for everybody, and obviously it depends on the amount that you've got in there, etc, etc, but that is uses. So then there's vitamin B6. This is called pyridoxine. pyridoxine. Now, vitamin B6 is another one that's really important for helping with energy levels. So if you look at the back of a can of any energy drink, you'll often see that it has, like Red Bull, you'll often see that it has B6 in there. And that's because it helps with the methylation pathway, which is part of your biochemistry of the body. But before it gets to B6, it needed B9, B2, B12, and then it moves on to B6. So this is why it's really important that you use all those B vitamins. So B6 may give you a little bit of a kick, but it won't work properly within the biochemistry of the body if you haven't used those other B vitamins. So it's really important that if you're going to take B vitamins, that you take all of them, but I'm going to tell you to take B12 also separately as well as what's in your B12, your B complex. B6 also helps with the body clock, with the melatonin. So serotonin gets you up in the morning, melatonin makes you go sleepy so you go to bed at night. So if you've got problems with your sleep pattern, you could be finding that you've got a problem with B6 deficiency within the body. And B7, biotin. Now this is, you've probably heard of this, you've probably seen it in a lot of other vitamin packages and packages together for hair, nails and all that kind of thing. And it's a little bit difficult is this one, because there's not much data to prove that. So it's kind of, that's how it's been sold, so that's what everybody believes. It's a little bit like propaganda. So biotin hasn't really been proven that spectacular for hair, nails and other things for growth. But what biotin has been proven to help is tiredness and fatigue. And it's also been found to help 2,000 other genes within the body have been proven that it is dependent on biotin. So biotin, another one like the B vitamins, it helps the step-by-step process. So it's like having, basically, I would say like having your car without the water, without the oil and without the petrol. You've got to have everything running together for it to run. So think of your body like a mechanism, like a car, where you need the step-by-step things for everything to work and to go into place. And again, going back to that vitamin C that I talked about at the beginning, a lot of vitamins and minerals aren't absorbed into the body without vitamin C. So vitamin C is imperative. So you can take all these other vitamins, but then if you're not taking vitamin C, it won't work as well. So it's the same with the B vitamins. It's really imperative that you take all of them. So take a really good B complex. Then we move on to B9, which is folic acid, as you know. Don't just think it's for pregnant women. No, everybody should be taking it. Folic acid is the synthetic version of what's called folate. So you can get folic acid down your local, and I can show you one here. I think this one's from Sainsbury's or Asda. You can get it in this capsules, but actually 1 in 4 of us, that's 40%, can't actually convert folic acid within our bodies to folate, because we have a problem with a gene called MTHFR, which is called methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. Say that when you've had a gin and tonic. So what I would say is try folic acid. If it's not working for you, then go on to folate. Folate, so that would be methylfolate, and you can normally pick them up for around about £10 for maybe 60 capsules or something like that. So B9 is really important, but remember what I said about that methylation. Now I know it gets very sciencey and it's the biochemistry of the body, but B9 needs B2 to work first of all, and then B9 comes round and joins B12 in the methionine synthase, and then the B9 and the B12 go round, and then they go round to the B6. So this is where it's really important that they're all used. So B9 is really important. If you're taking a lot of B12 because you've been told that you're B12 deficient, then B9 is imperative. Your B12 will not work the same without B9, and your B9 will not work the same without B12. We know that B9 is used to make DNA within the body, and it's also very important because it builds your red and white blood cells. So your red blood cells, your hemoglobin is made up of 3 things. It's made up of iron, B12 and B9. So without those, that's why you feel very tired, because the oxygen isn't pumping around your body. So your body is having to work harder. That's why I was always chronically fatigued when I had iron deficiency. And you often find that if you're iron deficient, it's almost like a domino effect, that you will become low in folate, you'll be low in B12. And when you're trying to build them up, if you're not building them all up together, if you're building iron up without B12 and B9, you'll often find that you could start to feel worse before you start to feel better, because some of them can knock the other ones off their pedestal. Does that make sense in what I'm saying? I hope it does. Next, we move on to a very, 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 very vital vitamin, which is B12. B12 deficiency is not nice. And once you have become B12 deficient, your body can't store it. It's a water soluble, so it's impossible to overdose. You would need to be taking around about 10,000 injections every single day to be overdosed, and nobody's going to be doing that. But there's 4 types of the cobalamin. Very difficult for me to say. I never get my tongue around that, which is B12. Now this affects the brain function, it affects the nervous system, and it attacks the myelin sheath around the nerve. So imagine your cable wire of your vacuum cleaner or any wire that you're using. When that plastic wrapping comes off, then your wires are exposed. That's the myelin sheath around your nerves. So it's really important for those neurotransmitters that you're using, and that the B12 is being used within your body. Now you'll often find B12 deficiency comes in if you're drinking too much alcohol, if you've got not a very good pH balance of your tummy, so therefore you're not absorbing it. Also, B12 deficiency comes with using PPIs for too long. That's proton pump inhibitors, and anybody that's on metformin for a long time, you'll often find that it's a long time. You're talking 4 or 5 years of using something that you will become deficient. And more often than not, B12 affects the peripherals first. Because obviously that's where the nerves have the longest and the furthest to travel. It can shrink the brain, and it can have effects on the brain, on brain fog. It can give you twitchiness, it can give you depression, anxiety, panic attacks. My friend had drop attacks with it, Carrie. It can give you fertility problems. Now this is one of the campaigns that Carrie and my friend, are doing at the moment, hopefully going through Parliament with it to help hire those guidelines, because the NHS Comms guidelines are way too wide. They're way too wide for iron, they're way too wide for folate, and they're way too wide for vitamin D. So those 4 imperative parts that are in this vlog are the NICE Comms guidelines are too wide. So really, you really want your B12 level to be over 500. In places like Japan, they will inject B12 if you are lower than 500 on that scale. Unfortunately, B12 deficiency is very rarely picked up in this country and can lead to anemia. It's actually called pernicious anemia, which means deadly anemia, and can leave you very, very, very poorly. So B12 is imperative within the diet, and if you can take a B12 supplementation, so just to tell you what we take, and obviously if you are B12 deficient, this won't really touch the surface. You really do need injections, and that's either methylcomalabin or methylcomalabin or hydroxycomalabin. If you're going via the doctors, it will be the hydroxine, and you'll be taking 1 milligram. And you need a loaded dose, so you need to be taking every other day those injections for 2 weeks. That loaded dose is imperative within the body, and then it should be as and when your body tells you you need it, because everybody is unique and everybody is individual. So the BNF guidelines of once every, I think it's gone down to once every 8 weeks now, is often too long, because it's a water soluble and you wee out what you don't use. And don't allow please don't allow them to be injected and then go and have a blood test. That would be like taking a glass of champagne and then having a breathalyzing test. Of course it's going to show up in your body because you've just been injected with it. You need it when your body is naturally as it is. So you need that B12, you need that B12 checking in your blood when you are naturally as you are, not just after you've been injected. So this is what we take. We take a B12 boost. It's a vitamin, and I give this to Frankie Jack as well. And this is a daily oral spray. It says on there to take 4 sprays a day, but I take between 10 and 15 a day. I give Frankie Jack 2 a day. Again, remember, you cannot overdose on B12. The other thing is that if you are fearful of injections, if you're fearful of injections and don't want to go and have them, I can't tell you this is going to work better, because everybody is going to be individual. But a really good product is called Pro Health, and this is called B12 Extreme. They are very expensive, but they come in, you get a pack of 30. They are 35 milligram, and all 4 types of comalabin are in there for you to be able to take. Now, you also take it sublingually. So you put it underneath your tongue and you suck on it. Therefore, it's going straight into the bloodstream and not into the stomach. So let me just quickly tell you the course of how B12 works. Obviously, it's in our soil. So then you can't get it in plants, but the cow or whatever is eating the agriculture then takes it into their body. Then we eat the meat, and that meat goes into the body. So the B12 is attached. So imagine having the piece of meat and imagine the B12 is attached on the side. As it goes in, your hydrochloric acid of your stomach then takes the B12 from whatever you've eaten. That could be the meat, that could be the chicken, that could be the beef, that could be the egg that you're eating. It takes the B12 away. And then the B12 is very fussy. It needs to be attached to your intrinsic factors in your stomach. It attaches it and then it absorbs. If you are on PPI, which is proton pump inhibitors, your hydrochloric acid in your stomach isn't working properly. Therefore, the B12 can't be stripped. If you are vitamin D deficient, your intrinsic factors don't work properly in your stomach. Therefore, the B12 can't attach and be absorbed. So there's a lots of different reasons that you can be B12 deficient. Alcohol, too much alcohol in the system. A lot of alcoholics will become B12 deficient through taking too much alcohol. And also, as well, as we get older, once we reach over the age of 55, we don't absorb our food the same. So if you are over that age, then definitely you should be taking a B12 supplementation. So those are very expensive. And if you are B12 deficient, I would highly recommend that you be taking one every single day and then maybe going as and when you need it. So maybe 3 times a week after you've taken that first course of 30. But after that, I would say for anybody else that's not B12 deficient, then I perhaps take maybe 1 or 2 a week of those. Now, I take zinc from Holland & Barrett, and Gary and I take this. We take the maximum strength of the zinc. Why? Zinc helps against infection. Crucial for the normal development and function of cells. It helps with the immune system and helps prevent those infections. If you take it naturally over time, your body builds that up, and you've got that zinc and that natural mechanism already in your body. So that's why we take zinc every day. Omega-3, the fish oil. So this helps with brain function. It also helps with vision. It also helps with the function of the heart as well. Omega-3 is another one that's got a lot of goodness in there. So it is an essential nutrient, and it's also one of those natural things to try and lower blood pressure as well. Another drink that I have every single day is Baraka. I love a Baraka first thing in the morning. Now remember, if you're taking any extra B12 vitamins or B6 vitamins, so you're taking a B complex and a B12 vitamin, it's really important that you take it in the morning. You don't want to be taking it after lunchtime because of course they are a natural stimulant, so they'll make you feel more awake. That's why they put them in energy drinks like Red Bull, etc. So if you're taking any B vitamins and any B12, it needs to be taken before lunchtime or the start of your day. So if you're on a night shift, it needs to be taken as you're getting up for that night shift. Otherwise, it will make you feel awake. Magnesium is another one that we take, but I tend to put the flakes in my bath. I do give magnesium to Frankie Jack though, but it helps with the nervous system and the muscles as well. So you'll often find if you are magnesium deficient that you have restless legs, but restless legs also comes with B12 deficiency and also iron deficiency. So be careful that you don't mix up the two. That's why it's really important to go for a blood test. So I always have all our bloods tested at least once every 6 months. I know I have mine every 3 months to check on my iron to make sure I'm not going below that optimum level. So magnesium regulates your muscles and your nerves. So now I'm going to go on to what I give Frankie Jack every day, because I know a lot of people have been interested in the vitamins that I give him. So first of all, we found out, obviously with me being iron deficient during pregnancy, that was passed on to Frankie Jack. If I have no iron, then he's not going to get any iron. This is an essential protein in the body, an essential amino acid, but it has to be eaten. It has to be taken in. Your body can't produce it naturally. So we found out that Frankie Jack was iron deficient. So we put him on ferroglobin, exactly what it says on the bottle. He takes 1 spoonful twice a day at 2.5 mil. And that's actually helped him within 5 months to get his iron levels back up to a basic level. So he's only at basic. I need to get him up to optimum. So it may take another maybe 4 months to get him there. So that's why an iron infusion is a lot better, because it gets into your system quicker. And if the bloods that we took in January, if Frankie Jack was still showing severely iron deficient, I would have got him in to have an iron infusion privately. But as it happens, he was at basic level, so we're carrying on with a ferroglobin. Again, he takes this every single day with a glass of fresh orange, because what did I tell you? Yes, 400% absorption, better absorption. We're taking it with vitamin C, and he takes it on an empty stomach with no food an hour before or an hour after. The magnesium, because we did find that he was having restless legs in bed, that comes with iron deficiency, but just to make sure, I also give him Floridix, which is a magnesium liquid formula, which you can get on the internet, but I got from Holland & Barrett. The other one, of course, because iron deficiency is the most common deficiency in children, but also so is vitamin D deficiency. So every single day, Frankie Jack takes the Deluxe Junior Daily Vitamin D, D3 spray, and this tells you to actually take one single dose a day. But actually what I've done with Frankie Jack is I've worked out, per speaking to the people that I know, how much he should be taking. I can't tell you that because you'd need to work it out for yourself, because I don't want somebody to go and take that bigger amount that I give Frankie Jack with not having to looked into it. And of course it's imperative that those bloods are red, and Frankie Jack had his bloods done in January. So he takes a little bit more, but remember it's a fat soluble, so it's important that you find out where their bloods are and what they should be taking. But every child should be taking vitamin D3 every single day. The other one that we give him is softies. So we give him a softie that's got the B vitamins in it, etc, etc. And I think this one has got omega-3. It's also got vitamin A. It's got vitamin E in it. So it's got quite a lot, and it's also got flaxseed oil as well. So we give him one of those a day. So those are the vitamins and minerals that Frankie Jack takes every day, because of what I've learned, and because I've had the privilege of being able to talk to people that know a lot about this and are experts in their field. So I hope that's helped, because I know a lot of you have been asking what vitamins and minerals we take every day. I know that's an awful lot to absorb, but remember, I am not medically trained, so I cannot tell you this is definitely what you've got to take. You must check with your doctor beforehand, because of course you need to check on whether you can take it with certain medication that you're on at the moment, and that's really important. And if you can, as soon as GPs are back up and running, if you feel any of the symptoms that I've had in previous vlogs that I've done, then it's really important to go and get your bloods actually checked. But don't just go for a full blood count, because they will not include the ones that I'm talking about. You need to ask your doctor to put those on as extra. Believe it or not, a full blood count does not include those ones. It won't include your ferritin, it won't include your transferritin saturation, your serum iron, your B12. Sometimes it may include your vitamin D. Highly unlikely that it will include your folate, and all of those need to be checked. So those help with tiredness and chronic fatigue. I hope you've enjoyed. If you've got any comments, leave them in the section below. If there's anybody that wants me to do individual videos on any of these extras that I talk about, which is vitamin D, B12, folate and iron, then the iron is up on the playlist. Any of the others, then let me know and I can do extra vlogs on there. Love you lots. Take care of yourself. Make sure that immune system is the best possible, but best place it could possibly be. And I'll see you later. Stay safe, stay in and stay well.